and at varsity, and I haven't seen Jane I think in about 15 years, maybe more. And we were looking up who we should ask us, because our yoga person has gone to visit his gran in the UK. So Jess actually was like, have you ever seen G.I. Jane? I was like, no. Oh my glory, I know her. So Jane, Killian and I have got this lovely past, and she is our self-love and yoga and personal trainer guru. So welcome, Jane. Thank you so much for joining.
Got some notes, yeah. I don't know what to talk about because I talk about a lot of different things. Can you hear me at the back? Okay, so first of all, sorry to come in, but when Stacey asked me, it was a week ago, and my first thought was, I've just had my brows powder done, you know how you go get them, and I was thinking, day 7, not great. So if you've had it before, you know it starts crusting, and so luckily you can't see me, but if you see me up close just now, then maybe you'll be like, what have you done? But it's not too bad, thank God. The universe was protecting me. So that was my first thought, was how are my brows going to look, but I feel like they're doing okay. But I wasn't going to apologise because that's one of my pet hates, Steph although probably. We have a friend in common. There's one thing that I've noticed about self-love is that we all apologise for our appearances. So that's why I'm leading with the brow story, because that was the first thought that popped into my head was, I don't know if I can stand up in front of people if the scabs are there, and then I stopped myself because I realised this is not how we roll, and that this is actually a problem with all of us. So we have a friend in common, and there are so many people who do it. The first thing they do on Instagram stories is they come on and they're like, I'm so sorry I haven't done my makeup. I'm so sorry I've got a giant zit on my face. I'm so sorry I've just got out the shower, my hair isn't done. And the first thing I keep thinking is, I literally didn't notice your face, there was anything on your face. I didn't notice that you didn't have makeup on. And it's this constant apologizing for our appearance or lack thereof that annoys me, and I have to actually call it out. So the one friend that does it so often that I've actually started, I reply to her, and now she even says, if she starts saying it on her stories, she goes, I know that Jane's going to message me now and tell me not to say this. So she's very aware of it. So I am aware of that as well, and I wasn't going to apologize for my face anyway, even if it wasn't looking the best that it was, because I'm so aware of that. So I am Jane. If you have seen me driving around Durban, my number plate is G.I. Jane ZN. You might have seen it for the last 20 years. That's me. I live in Durban North, so I'm not from around this side, but I do come around on occasion. I've been a personal trainer for 15 years now, and while I was doing that and working from everyone from the outside in, I've been hearing every single story you can imagine. I'm basically like a therapist, which I'm not. Every complaint, every pain point, and I didn't realize back then, but I was always a self-love trainer. I was not the six-pack, don't eat that, don't eat that. I was like, live an 80-20 lifestyle, eat the cupcake. I mean, I'm already like eyeing the food, looking for the carbs, because I am a carb girl. And I've always been looking at it from the inside out versus the outside in, but I didn't actually realize it. Only until, gosh, about 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, I've been doing it from the inside out versus the outside in. So I've always been telling my clients to be kind to yourself. I would say, look in the mirror, and even if you don't see a difference, tell yourself that you see a difference, because it actually does work. Because your mind only believes what you say. So it's really important for me to have switched from the outside in to the inside out. And it happened gradually over time, but then suddenly at the same time everything kind of aligned. So I was personal training for 15 years, then I started a self-love brand in 2018 called Unselfishly Me. It literally almost fell from the sky, even the name. It was just uncanny how everything just kind of came together. And then I own Secret Sunrise Durban. If you have seen us dancing like crazy people on the beachfront or doing the yoga with the headset, Kirsten, I see you there. And I've also got these fabulous, we had your birthday party the other day. We did a private birthday party. So yeah, so we know each other. So I also run Secret Sunrise. So we are always about sharing the joy, about living your best life, about being authentically you, and feeling free to be yourself as well. So everything that I've kind of done over the years has just somehow kind of exploded together, and it just kind of mixed in, and it all just works so well together. So everything that I have always been doing without knowing has been about teaching people to love themselves, to be your true self, whether that's dyeing your hair purple or whether it's wearing funky clothes or whatever it is. If you want to go dance like a crazy person on the beach, you know, and your friends don't want to go with you because it's not their vibe, but you go by yourself, like being true to who you are. So everything that I've always done somehow has just always managed to come together. So that is basically who I am. Last year I decided to do my yoga teacher training as well, but I don't teach intermediate and up, I teach beginners. So literally, if you've never done yoga, those are the people that come to me. I teach from the ground up, literally each pose from scratch, and that is like my favorite thing to do because no one focuses on that or teaches you how to do that. And that's the same thing with self-love. How do you love yourself more? It's so easy to say, but I feel like there was never anyone telling you exactly how to do it, unless like you went to therapy and you sat there and you spoke about your feelings. But if you are not in a space that you feel like you need therapy, there was never really this, you can look on Instagram and YouTube, but what are you looking for? So that's why I created Unselfishly Me, and I kind of was overachieving and straight away created an 8-week e-course the first month that I launched it. So that's how I started with this 8-week e-course that was live, and every week we would release the modules, but it now sits on an online platform, so it's self-study. And then from there I launched retreats and a podcast. So we do about 3 or 4 retreats a year. I've got a soul drop one next weekend if anyone wants to come. There's 2 rooms left. So it's really fun to immerse yourself for a weekend and actually learn all these tools in like a non-threatening space as well. So you're there to have a weekend for yourself, but at the same time you're learning all these things. And we do a little private secret sunrise as well, and some yoga. So from there I kept up with the podcast. I don't even know how many episodes I've done now. I think it's in the 70s. All about self-love and interviewing different people and talking about their journeys, because I found, which is what's going to happen to you today, when you hear people talking about what they're going through, there's something in you that's going through the same thing or has gone through the same thing. So hearing someone else's struggle and someone else's pain points, you can resonate with that as well. So from there, what else have I done? I've done workshops. COVID actually was good because I went online instead of only doing in person. So I had people, I was doing workshops every Sunday. I had people in Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Amsterdam, South Africa, and it made me a better speaker too, so I'm not nervous for things like this. I'm usually like, where's the microphone now? So basically I do everything that is to do with self-love and teaching you where to start. Even like journaling, I had to do an actual workshop during COVID on how to journal, because so many people were like, I don't know, how do I journal? So simple things like that, and how to get into meditation, and how to ask yourself what you're feeling. I think we all can agree. I'm going to ask you to put your hands up. Who here in your lifetime has not felt good enough in some way? Whether it's the way you look, whether it's your mind, your body, whether it's work, whether it's family, whether it's friends. Like, who has not felt good enough in some way their whole life? I'm asking the guys to put their hands up too. Okay, so that is the basis of everything, is that we all do not feel good enough. We don't feel enough in one aspect or all. And maybe we're at a stage in our lives now where we feel fine. For me, I have a 2-year-old, so I feel fine in myself and everything, but I question myself as a mother. Thanks to my little social media friends, not like on a daily basis. And then I have to like snap myself out of it. Be like, no, you're doing an amazing job. You know, just calm down. So that is the basis of self-love, is that most of us, all of us, have in some way not felt good enough. And the problem is that it all stems from childhood. So between the age of 0 and 7, that's when we make up our stories about ourselves. And it's not even our stories to tell. And I'm sorry if there's teachers here, but it's teachers, parents, and siblings are the ones that cement these thoughts for us. And it becomes a subconscious thought that we actually carry through our lives. So even your money, I do a manifestation workshop as well, your money blocks come from your childhood. How many times did your parents say, money doesn't grow on trees, money is the root of all evil, rich people are so full of themselves? There's so many different things. Or you are in a shop and you're maybe 5 years old and you want that, and they're like, no, we can't afford that, it's too expensive. And the whole time you keep this subconsciously in your mind growing up. So now when you are going to go and buy something for yourself, you're like, it's too expensive. No, I don't want to do that. Oh, I can't. And that's why the lotto, how many people win the lotto, especially if they haven't come from money, it's gone in like a year or two. Because they don't feel worthy of the money, and it's gone because they just want to like, get rid of it because they think money is the root of all evil, rich people are evil, etc., etc. So our mind is so important to change our conditioning from that age because we carry it throughout our lives. So if you were told by teachers that you are a dreamer, that you don't concentrate, that you're never going to amount to anything in your life, all those things, which has happened, I've got friends that have told me those, then it gets carried through with you. So that person that will never amount to anything has gone through every single job, lasted 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, because she feels like she's never going to amount to anything. So she might as well self-sabotage and move on to the next thing. So you don't realize how much you're affected by your words and the words of other people. So I do so many different topics that I don't know what to talk about because there's so much that I could literally talk about. I'm on a time constraint. So the main things that I could steer you to a workshop or steer you to work on yourself, negative self-talk and boundaries would be my main thing. I think those are my most popular ones that I have done. So I'm going to give you a few little tips for there. So negative self-talk, our minds only believe what we say. So every time we say something in the mirror, every time we say something negative to ourselves, our mind is listening. And that's why when someone compliments you, you brush it off so quickly. Your mind is like, thank you. I was only 100 rand from Mr. Price. I mean, the person doesn't even care. I don't know why we even keep talking. It's like they didn't ask where it was from, or they just said you look really nice. And then we start rejecting ourselves because we don't want to get rejected. So our minds only believe what we say. So instead of looking for outside validation and asking, almost wanting compliments from other people, start complimenting yourself. Look in the mirror if you look really cute. Like I was like, oh my hair looks really nice today, and I actually told myself that instead of waiting for Steph to tell me how long my hair is got and how it's usual. I actually complimented myself because my mind only believes what I say. There's no point. But when someone gives you a compliment, you believe it for 20 minutes and then it's gone. Whereas when you say it, your mind actually listens to what you're saying and believes it and it stores it. So even if you're feeling really terrible about yourself, start complimenting yourself every day. Look in the mirror and say something kind about yourself. Even if it's one thing a day, even if it's about your eyes or your hair or your outfit, it doesn't have to always be like about your body if that is your pain point and that is hard for you. But start saying these things so that you get into a habit of actually being kind to yourself. And it becomes such a habit every day. You'll look in the mirror and say something kind. And then noticing when you don't say something kind, don't berate yourself for saying something negative. Stop yourself, notice it, forgive yourself, and then flip it and say something positive. So you're taking the place of the negative. We have between 10,000 and 60,000 thoughts per day. Some of us obviously more than others. We're the ADHD people at. So 80% of them are negative. So every single thing that you're thinking in a day, 80% is negative. And I keep saying that I wish that we could flip that around and have 80% positive because I feel like the world would be a completely different place. So if you can try and be 5% more positive each day. So think about the negative ones. And like I said, as soon as you think of something negative or you say something negative to yourself, stop, flip it, change it into a positive. That your mind will stop doing that every time. So that we can try and flip it from 80% negative to even 50% positive would be like a massive change. So that's the one thing. And then boundaries. Setting boundaries with people, those around you, your family, your friends, work, especially the last 2 years has been insane with bosses emailing and phoning people at like 9 o'clock at night, and I've just heard so many horror stories. So boundaries are saying what you will and will not tolerate. That's basically what it is. It's not saying that I'm a PRTCH because I'm setting this down. It's saying this is me and this is what I want and this is what I need. And if you can't respect me for what I'm telling you that I need, then there's the door. You know, even if it's family, I'm sorry, but toxic family, just because they're family doesn't mean you have to stay with them. You need to set those boundaries and then move on. So on retreat, I always say, I want you to visualize yourself taking a permanent marker and doing a circle around yourself. So that is your circle. No one can come in without permission and nothing can penetrate through them. Obviously, sometimes there are people that you need to be a little bit more lenient with, so maybe you do it chalk and then you can kind of blur the lines a little bit with certain people and family and things like that. So allowing yourself, not them dictating when, to blur the lines where you need to. But you need to visualize that and know that when you're in that circle, you are protected and they cannot get in and out. So setting boundaries that benefit you and knowing that, yes, when you set them, especially if it is not like it's your family or someone that you've been around for a long time, it is going to be pushback, but again, just standing firm and saying, this is what I need. If you cannot respect what I need, then should you be in my life? So boundaries are very important. And then, there's so much I'm talking about. But those are the main things. If I had to say, this is what you need to do to create a change from today. It's giving yourself compliments, watching what you say, and setting boundaries. Also, some of you maybe need to set boundaries with yourself. You know, maybe you need to set boundaries with what you want and what you need. Like if you keep saying that you want to start walking in the morning and going to do a walk, you can't keep not doing it because you need to actually set in a plan in motion. If you want to feel like you are lighter and more clearer within your mind and you want to start meditating, then you have to make the time for 5 minutes a day. So setting those boundaries with yourself as well. So negative self-talk and boundaries are my top. And then, yeah, making time for mental health. So guided meditations. Everyone thinks that we were going to do one, but I don't know if we've got time or if I'm going to be loud enough to do one. Do you want me to do one? Okay. So guided meditations are the best thing you can do for your mental health, to be honest, is to find one. I think everyone thinks that meditating is literally sitting there in silence. I just want to let you know it's not. There are amazing guided meditations on different apps. I use Insight Timer, it's incredible. So finding a 5-minute guided meditation and then sitting and listening to it. So it's someone talking and guiding you through it. It really does help to clear your mind and to allow you to be still. Like this is the quietest you guys have been all morning. Have you noticed? You are still now. So it's like allowing yourself to just be still and have that peace. So yeah, we're gonna do. Do you want me to show them some stretches seated, Stace? Yeah. Okay. So because we were gonna do yoga and then we flipped it. So I'm going to show you some stretches that I do with my yoga class, but you can do it seated, which is nice. And then we're going to do like a quick 3-minute meditation as well. So I want you to, because I'm going to need, oh no, the chairs are actually fine. Okay, so I want you to bring your hands in front of you, interlace your fingers. So you might so maybe this is something that you do every morning before you get out of bed, or if you're at the office and at your desk. Pushing your hands away from you, so flipping them around, the fingers, pushing away. And then I want you to round your back, drop your head, and then pushing into that spine, stretching. Inhale your arms up to the sky. You can see our teacher out for yoga. And exhale over to your left. Inhale to center. Exhale to your right. Inhale to center. Releasing your hands, interlacing them behind you, so you don't have to do it behind your chair or come forward. And then pushing those arms away, so you're opening up your heart. From here, taking your hands and try to hook them on your back or your hip on your left hand side. And then tilting your head to that side. I'm teaching reverse because I usually face. Releasing your neck and your head to center, releasing the hands and then taking them over to your right, and then tilting your head that side. Releasing your head back to center, and then bringing your hands to the front. So you can do that for 3 rounds if you want. It's nice, hey? That's good for the neck. Yeah, your head, when you take your hands to your hip, it's such an intense stretch, but in a nice way. So that's something nice for you to do. And then I'm just going to take you through a short guided meditation. Has anyone here never meditated before? Steph? I was going to say, when you're driving to do your makeup stuff in the Midlands and you're listening to your rock band, I feel like that's your version of meditating. Yes. Even if you're cooking, you can be meditating when you're cooking. It's anything that quietens down your mind. I obviously love guided meditations. As you can see, I love talking, so I love hearing people talk. But even like painting, if you're sitting by yourself and painting, if you're gardening, cooking, it's all just mindfulness. So it's bringing mindfulness to your day. So I'm going to try to be really loud, but I'm also going to walk up and down. So I want you to, if you've got anything in your hands, put it down, and then you can put your hands in your lap. And gently close down your eyes. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, in your stomach now, and that balloon, and allowing yourself to reach more than 10%. Let's aim for 20. And noticing how it feels to take such a deep breath. Actually expand your stomach. To actually let go. I want you to visualize yourself in a field. You decide what the field looks like, the grass, the flowers, the trees. And you see someone in the distance, so you start walking up to them. And when you get closer, you realize that it is you. But it's 10-year-old you. So how do you feel? Do you go up to yourself? Or do you wait? So walking up to yourself after you've had your moment. Maybe you needed to pause. Maybe you needed to appreciate. Going up to yourself and saying all the things that you need to hear right. So not what you needed back then. Saying the things that you need right now in this moment. Remembering that your mind only believes what you say. So saying what you need to hear for your life right now. Knowing that saying it out loud and saying it to yourself is embedding it in your subconscious and is healing you already. Reaching out your arms, giving yourself a big hug. That small version of yourself. Knowing that small version of you is still inside of you. Anytime that you need to reach them. Anytime that you need to say these words that maybe you won't say to yourself at this age. Because you don't feel like you need it. You don't feel like you are worthy of it. But just knowing that you are always worthy of your own love, your own time, your own affection, and your own attention. Giving yourself one more big squeeze. Telling little you that you love yourself, that you love them, that you love you. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And slowly fluttering your eyes open. Did everyone get UCs or emotional? Just a reminder that the things that we say to ourselves and what we don't say to ourselves, the negative things we would never say to small us. We would never be that unkind to small us. So why do we say these things to ourselves now? And the fact that we would tell our younger self that we love them. I usually say girls, but there's men here, so now I have to say them. That we love them, but it's so hard for us to say it to ourselves now. So just a reminder that that small person is inside of you now, always, and that you should be able to say these things to yourselves now, and you should be able to heal yourself in that way by saying these kind of things and working through it as if you were talking to young you. So if that is something that resonated with, maybe coming back to it whenever you need to, and just whenever you are berating yourself or saying something negative, also like picturing little you and being like, would I say that to him or her in person? And if the answer is no, which it should be, then stop, forgive, and replace. Okay, I hope that you have had some clarity or even some little aha moments, and I hope that you will get something extra special out of this today, that you can go into your day and your week just loving yourself 5% more. I have a 5% rule. All we have to do is try and be 5% happier each day. Because I have friends that have depression, and my worst is when someone's like, just be happy, just be happier, just be less anxious. So 5%. We can all be 5% happier, we can all be 5% healthier, we can love ourselves 5% every day. Even if it's just putting on a song that makes you feel happy, that's 5%. So I hope you are 5% happier after this talk, and that you have a really good rest of the day.
Thank you, Jane. I think it's so right. We all want to love ourselves, and we all know it's important to love ourselves, but we don't actually know where to start sometimes. And it seems a bit silly because we so naturally love people in our lives, but we can't do the same for ourselves. And I think the 2 practical tips of, number 1, compliment yourself, look in the mirror, find something, even if you have to really dig deep, and start setting boundaries are 2 really great practical. And today is about small changes, small acts. We can't try and do an overhaul, but if we just do something small every day to try and be happier and live a better life, and to live a life for that 10-year-old, because I think that's the main aim and goal here, is to find that inner peace, to find real happiness, like you felt as a little girl or a little boy. So thank you so much, Jane, really appreciate it. To find more belly happiness, please eat some more food, and we will get going with Lynn in about 5 minutes. Thank you.